As trade networks expanded, social structures underwent profound and lasting transformation. In Bronze Age burials, archaeologists have found increasingly stark disparities in wealth. Some graves are strikingly simple, containing little more than a few ceramic vessels or basic tools, while others are filled with elaborately crafted weapons, gold ornaments, and imported bronzeware. This growing differentiation in burial practice is widely regarded by archaeologists as compelling evidence for social stratification, the emergence of ranked and unequal societies. One of the most celebrated examples is the Bush Barrow burial, located in Wiltshire in southern England, and dating back approximately 3,900 years. In 1808, the archaeologist William Cunnington excavated the site and uncovered a breathtaking assemblage of grave goods: an exquisitely crafted lozenge-shaped gold breastplate, a gold belt hook, a ceremonial mace decorated with bronze and bone fittings, and several bronze weapons. Analysis of the gold lozenge revealed that its production required extraordinary metalworking skill. The surface is covered in finely incised geometric patterns that continue to astonish researchers to this day. When high-resolution images of this object circulated on platforms like Reddit and Twitter, they triggered fierce debate about just how technically accomplished ancient craftspeople could have been. Some users placed the lozenge side by side with components machined by modern precision tools and questioned whether purely hand-worked techniques could produce such regularity. A few went further and cited the image as supposed evidence for lost civilizations or ancient extraterrestrial contact. These claims have no scholarly foundation, but they reflect a genuine and recurring bias worth addressing directly. The cognitive and technical capacities of prehistoric people have long been systematically underestimated. Experimental archaeologists have since demonstrated through replication projects that Bronze Age craftspeople, using bone styluses and animal fat as a lubricant, were entirely capable of impressing geometric patterns of remarkable precision onto gold foil. The process requires no supernatural explanation, only years of apprenticed training, accumulated muscle memory, and extraordinary patience. Judging by the overall character of the grave goods, the individual buried at Bush Barrow was almost certainly among the highest-ranking figures in early Bronze Age Britain, most likely a chieftain who commanded access to resources, specialized knowledge, and ritual authority. Bush Barrow does not stand alone. Across Wiltshire, Dorset, and much of southern England, archaeologists have identified large numbers of similarly furnished burials, often described as rich graves, containing gold sourced from Ireland, amber beads from the Baltic coast, glass beads from the eastern Mediterranean, and an array of both locally made and imported bronzeware. The geographical origins of these objects span thousands of kilometers. Their concentration in the graves of a small number of individuals strongly suggests that these people, during their lifetimes, controlled critical nodes within long-distance exchange networks, or at the very least enjoyed privileged access to goods from far away. Baltic amber deserves particular attention in this context. The amber route connecting the North Sea coastline to the Mediterranean world operated according to a logic strikingly similar to that of modern luxury supply chains. Raw material extracted at the periphery accumulated value at each stage of its journey, ultimately coming to rest as a symbolic object on the body or in the tomb of the powerful. When one content creator placed a Baltic amber necklace worn by a Mycenaean noblewoman alongside an analysis of contemporary old money aesthetics, the video attracted millions of views. Audiences were struck by the resonance across 3,000 years, but the more substantive question lurking beneath that recognition is what the two contexts actually share at a structural level, namely, the way symbolic objects function to naturalize and reproduce social hierarchy. The mechanisms behind the formation of social stratification have been a central and contested question in archaeology for decades. One school of thought holds that the process was primarily driven by technological change. Bronze smelting required scarce raw materials and specialized expertise, and this naturally positioned those who controlled resources and craft knowledge to accumulate disproportionate wealth and influence. A second perspective places greater weight on ideology, arguing that emerging elites legitimized their power by controlling ritual knowledge and the veneration of ancestors, and that material wealth was the outward expression of this power rather than its source. The scholar Timothy Earle, in his influential research on Bronze Age European chiefdoms, synthesized both perspectives, arguing that economic control and ideological authority reinforced one another in practice and cannot be meaningfully separated. This analytical framework bears an interesting structural resemblance to popular online discussions about the relationship between capital and cultural hegemony, Those who possess wealth find it easier to define taste, and those who define taste find it easier to accumulate wealth. That circuit was already turning in Bronze Age Britain, expressed in the mace and the gold lozenge. Ancient DNA research has introduced new variables into this debate, and with them, new controversies. From around 2015 onward, research teams led by laboratories including that of David Reich at Harvard began publishing findings that revealed a large-scale migration of steppe populations into Bronze Age Europe, with genetic replacement rates in some regions reaching as high as 90%. These results prompted serious scholarly debate about the relative roles of migration, conquest, and cultural diffusion. They also produced sharply divergent reactions on social media. Some far-right accounts misread the findings as historical validation of ethnic purity, while others countered that it was precisely this large-scale mixing and movement of populations that formed the actual foundation of what is called European civilization. David Reich himself took the unusual step of appending a dedicated section to one of his research papers discussing how ancient DNA data might be misappropriated for political ends, a measure rarely seen in academic publishing. For elite burials like Bush Barrow, ancient DNA analysis has provided additional evidence. Some studies suggest that elite males in early Bronze Age Britain show elevated genetic affinity with steppe migrant populations, implying that the rise of a new ruling stratum may have been closely bound up with the social reorganization that accompanied population movement, rather than representing a purely internal differentiation within an existing community. More recent research has also made clear that elite status in the Bronze Age was neither fixed nor guaranteed. Unlike the hereditary aristocracies of later state societies, the standing of Bronze Age elites in Britain most likely required constant renewal through acts of exchange, military demonstration, and ritual display. This quality of performed and precarious distinction calls to mind contemporary anxieties about class mobility and consolidation. In a pre-state society without robust legal mechanisms to secure the transmission of property across generations, maintaining a position at the top was itself an ongoing and costly performance. Elites were not born secure. They had to prove their claim to status again at every feast, every gift-giving occasion, every ceremony. This pattern is also visible in the treatment of women in the burial record. In a number of richly furnished graves, women were interred wearing elaborate gold jewelry and imported beads, indicating that pathways to elite status were not restricted to male military achievement. Kinship alliances and female social networks may have been equally important sources of power and prestige. In 2021, analysis of a Bronze Age female burial near Augsburg in Germany revealed that the woman interred there had likely occupied a position of exceptional social standing, with grave goods surpassing in richness those of male contemporaries buried nearby. The discovery generated substantial public commentary in German-speaking countries, with feminist commentators and historical revisionists each drawing on the same archaeological data to support opposing narratives, the former citing it as evidence for matriarchal or female-led social arrangements, the latter treating it as an individual anomaly. Archaeologists were broadly dissatisfied with both forms of simplification. Their preferred interpretation is one that resists essentialism. The relationships between gender, status, and power in the Bronze Age varied considerably across regions, periods, and communities, and any sweeping generalization compresses the evidence beyond recognition. The real historical complexity tends to settle slowly in the footnotes of academic journals, long after the heat of the online debate has faded.